Hi, Billy here from Monster Lake Ranch, where the fish are big and the West is wild. Today's lesson learned on the ranch, the cattle drive. Want to ride along in our cattle drive, the ranch owner said. My son and daughter-in-law were visiting me on the ranch, and they jumped at the thought of riding along. Because they wanted to, I had no choice but to say, "Sure, sounds great." Inwardly, I was a little concerned because of my lack of experience on a horse and my total lack of experience driving cattle. However, my personality is to fake it until you make it. So I went to the barn and picked out the prettiest horse and pretended to like the idea of driving cattle. "Be still, my heart. Angels protect me," the words I uttered over and over in my head as I waited for the cattle drive to start. Before we started, we were given rules to follow to ensure a successful ride. Rules are good, and I figured out a long time ago rules were made through others' mistakes. I listened because I wanted to survive this cattle drive. Rule number 1, keep cattle together. We want to take a leisurely stroll with the cattle to keep them calm and all going in the same direction. Oh, my thoughts. Yippee! I like these rules, and maybe this is going to be a great day after all. A leisurely stroll was my cup of tea. Rule number 2, stay alongside the cattle on both sides of the herd. You go with this team, you go with that one. My thought, good. We're set up in teams on both sides. We have each other's back. Rule number 3, keep the cattle moving and focused on the goodie truck leading the way. There was a white truck in front of the cattle loaded down with cattle cake. The cattle were accustomed to this truck because periodically they would get a cake from the ranch hands in the pastures out of this very same truck. The cows were happy to see it and felt comfortable something good was about to happen. It calmed them down. For me, I kept thinking, all it needs is music playing and it would have looked like an ice cream truck leading the cattle to their new pasture. The cattle drive was going along nicely, and then, out of nowhere, my pretty horse decided to run. Rule number 1 about staying calm was broken by me. After some shouts from the team members I was riding with to pull back on the reins, my pretty horse stopped running. My son came up alongside me to see if I was okay, and he laughed at his mother, who had a look of fear on her face and a look of, I don't like this pretty horse anymore. My horse was calm as long as he walked next to the horse my son was riding. I think it must have been his girlfriend. He didn't run again, but I didn't let my guard down because trust had been broken between us. The day was going well, and then a team member from the other side of the herd, for some reason, decided to leave their side and cross over and come to our side. When that happened, the cattle followed her and started going down a canyon in the wrong direction. Oh no, rule number 2 had been broken, and now some cattle were going the wrong way. After a while of chasing up and down the canyons in the valley, we got them back on the right path. Before too long, we were in the new pasture where the cattle would graze and be content. I was exhausted, and my rump was sore, but I had just marked off, participate in a cattle drive from my bucket list. And so, what did I learn on the cattle drive? 1, make good, solid rules that come from other people's experiences. That is called common sense, and you better have some of that in your business and in your life. 2, don't let mistakes encourage you to make one. If everyone doesn't follow the rules, others could get hurt, and you could get steered off in the wrong direction. 3, keep moving and focus on the rewards at the end of the day. You may have the best team ever, and some will mess up and cause a delay on a project. Get them back on track and keep your eye on the goodie when you hit your target. 4, always be prepared to say, "Sure, I'll do that," even if your gut is wrenching and you don't have any experience at it. Life's too short, so jump on a horse and ride, baby, ride. 5, and last but not least, don't always jump on the prettiest horse in the stable. You must trust the ones you ride with, and you can't have one who doesn't have your back. They may take you for a ride, and it may damage everything you have ever worked for. This is Billy signing off for now from Monster Lake Ranch and reminding our listeners that ranch life is still the best way to learn how to live in the city and how to run a business.